how to handle sales consultations with prospective clients, how to talk with potential bookkeeping clients, how to handle sales consultations so that business owners actually pay you as a bookkeeper for bookkeeping services. My name is Zach Pasquarello, and in this video, I'm going to teach you how to effectively land new clients simply by conducting a 10-minute sales consultation over the phone, asking the right questions, gathering the information you need to give them a quote, and ultimately identifying what information you need to quickly and efficiently close this client for bookkeeping services. If you need any help starting or growing your bookkeeping business, as always, check out all of the links in the description of this video for great resources to help you, specifically you watching this video, start and grow your bookkeeping business. Everything starts with the scheduling link. Anytime anybody reaches out to me inquiring about my bookkeeping services, one of the first things I do is I say, hey, you can call me anytime from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Here's my phone number, or here is a link. You can schedule a free consultation, 10-minute consultation over the phone, schedule anytime. I would love to chat with you. This scheduling link is so efficient for prospective clients. If they don't have time to call you today, but they're organized and they manage their calendar effectively, they can schedule a link with you in the future. That way, you get their email, their phone number, their contact information. They schedule an appointment with you. You can call them tomorrow or next week. The whole idea is to be fast, efficient, and organized. So I tell people all the time, call me anytime, or simply use this link and schedule a meeting with me. It's on my website, so anybody can use that link to schedule a free consultation with me. If you don't already, I strongly recommend get some type of scheduling software and have a link for potential clients to easily schedule a meeting with you. Okay, so now the client has either called you or they have scheduled a meeting with you. I always let the client do the talking first. Of course, I'm going to have a quick introduction, and I try to make this as quick and as painless as possible. I will simply start the conversation by saying, hey, this is Zach Pasquarello. Is now still a good time to talk? Okay, great. So what do you have going on? That's it. I keep it so simple. Introduce myself, ask them if they still have time to talk, and then I open up the floor for them to start talking. I don't waste any time. I just let them do the talking because most people love talking about themselves and their business, and this will be the perfect opportunity for them to tell you everything they have going on in their business. Let them do the talking. They'll probably talk for at least 2 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes, and they will tell you everything about their business. And at this point, you should be taking notes. I don't like taking sales consultations if I'm not at my computer or at a table with pen and paper. After they tell me about their business, one of the very first questions I always ask: who was doing your bookkeeping before? Why are you switching? Maybe they didn't have any bookkeeping done. Maybe they had their spouse doing their bookkeeping. Maybe they actually had a bookkeeper, or maybe they had an office manager. Maybe their finance person just left the business. This is really important. You want to get an idea what was going on before you were there. If nobody was doing the bookkeeping, maybe you're starting from scratch. If they had a previous bookkeeper, maybe you could ask, why are you no longer with them? Maybe they were doing a bad job. Or maybe the potential client just didn't work well with that bookkeeper. Try to pick up on clues, potentially red flags, as to what was going on before in the past so that you have a better understanding of what you're walking into. Some businesses are incredibly organized and they had a great bookkeeper, and it's pretty easy to take over the business. Other businesses were wildly unorganized, and sometimes you're walking into a total mess. So I always ask, who was doing your bookkeeping before, and why are they not doing your bookkeeping anymore? The second most important question, QuickBooks Online. Are you currently using QuickBooks Online? If they are, that's great. If they're not, are you willing to switch to QuickBooks Online? Because I only work with QuickBooks Online. So if you're not using it and you're not willing to switch, then we can't work together. It's pretty much as simple as that. No point in wasting any more time. This rarely happens, but sometimes it does happen, and I'm so happy I asked. Next question I asked, How many bank accounts do you have? How many credit card accounts do you have? I try to be very specific, very clear. If they tell me I just have one bank account, I'll say, okay, so you don't have any other savings accounts, no payroll accounts, no money market accounts, just one bank account. Who's it with? That way I have a very clear understanding. Okay, they have one bank account with Wells Fargo. Great. How many credit cards do you have? Sometimes they'll say I have no credit cards. Sometimes they'll say I have 5 credit cards. No matter what, I always try to get a very clear understanding because this information is what I'm going to use to send them a quote. This is what I will use to evaluate the size and complexity of their business. So it's super important. Sometimes people don't fully understand how many bank accounts and credit cards they actually have. I can't tell you how many times I've gone through the quoting process, I've gone through the onboarding process, and I'm like, hey, what is this Amex payment that you're making every month? And they say, oh yeah, that's right. That's another American Express credit card that I forgot about. This is going to increase the amount of work that I have to do, which could increase the price of bookkeeping services. So to alleviate any confusion or frustration down the road, I try to be crystal clear. Okay, so you have one bank account with Wells Fargo, and you said you have 2 credit cards, one with Chase and one with American Express. Do you have any other credit cards? Home Depot, Amazon, any other credit cards that maybe you forgot about relevant to this business? And then I'm taking notes as they tell me who their previous bookkeeper was, if they're using QuickBooks Online, how many bank accounts, how many credit card accounts they have. This is the opportunity to take notes because all of this information will play into the quoting process. So that's pretty much it. I might ask them if they have any employees or loans or assets, but other than that, I really only care about QuickBooks, their bank accounts, and their credit cards. I will remind people if they do have employees. I probably won't go out of my way to tell people this, but if they ask, I will tell them I don't do payroll, I don't do taxes, I don't do CFO services. I only offer bookkeeping, but I do partner with a CPA and he does all of those things. So if you're looking for somebody to help with your taxes, I can help you out with that. Not me specifically, but my partner who's a CPA, he can help you out with the taxes. But I just do the bookkeeping. Sometimes they'll ask me what I do. Not all the time. Most people kind of understand what bookkeeping is, but if they don't know what bookkeeping is, or if they ask me, so what is it exactly that you do? I'll usually tell people I keep it pretty simple. I just do bookkeeping. I categorize your transactions and I do that every single week. So I'm updating your bookkeeping in QuickBooks in real time. And then I reconcile your accounts every month. This is simply so that I can make sure everything is penny for penny, exactly accurate. That means I will need your bank statements and credit card statements and loan statements every month. And then finally, I'll generate your financial reports. That's kind of the whole point of bookkeeping. And I do this in the first 5 to 10 business days of every month. After I've explained my bookkeeping services, if they ask about it, I really try to emphasize the fact that I do their bookkeeping on a regular basis. This is a huge selling point because most CPAs and accounting firms are notorious for not keeping up with bookkeeping in a timely manner. Most CPA and accounting firms do it quarterly. They'll do bookkeeping quarterly. They will not do your bookkeeping weekly or monthly. And that's kind of useless if you're trying to look at your profit and loss updated on a monthly or weekly basis. So I try to emphasize I do your bookkeeping weekly. That way it's updated and accurate. Okay, so after I get an idea of their software, QuickBooks Online, their bank accounts, their credit cards, after I have explained my services, now I try to get the QuickBooks Online invitation while I'm on the phone. If they already have QuickBooks Online and if all of their bank accounts and credit cards are in the QuickBooks bank feed and they're updated, I will try to get an invitation right there on the phone to their QuickBooks account. If not, then I'll get their email address and I will send them instructions as soon as we are done with the call. I'll send them instructions on how to invite me to their QuickBooks account. If they don't have QuickBooks or if the bank feed is not updated and accurate, then I'll simply ask them to send me their 3 most recent bank statements and credit card statements. Now, this is why it was so important that we get an accurate understanding of which bank accounts they have, which credit card accounts they have. That way, when they send us the documents or we look at the QuickBooks bank feed, If they told us they have 2 credit cards, but they only have 1 credit card connected to the QuickBooks bank feed, we will know there is some transactional data missing. So we cannot give them a proper quote until we see all the transactional data. That's why I really emphasize get a clear understanding of their bank accounts and credit card accounts. No matter what, if they already have QuickBooks or they don't have QuickBooks, no matter what, after the sales consultation, I'm sending them an email with next step instructions. I never want them to be confused. What is happening next? How can we get this ball rolling forward? I always want to be crystal clear. This is the next step. Invite me to your QuickBooks or send me your 3 most recent bank statements and credit card statements. Now, the last question I ask, I always like to throw this in. What is your budget? Sometimes people will tell me, $400 a month. I have no idea. I'm hoping to keep this under $4,000 for the whole year. This gives me an idea. Sometimes people might say, $500 a month is my budget. I look at the numbers and their bookkeeping would only actually cost $200 a month based on my calculations. So I know that $200 a month is way under their budget, which is great. Or other times people say $500, I do my calculations, it ends up being $1,000 based on my calculations. So it's always nice to know what is their budget, what is their expectation. That way you can tailor the quote one way or another to try to fit their budget a little bit better. And then after you send the quote, it's not always a set in stone offer. Sometimes there is room for a little bit of negotiation. So also keep that in mind. If you send them a quote and they don't like it, always ask, okay, how can we make this work? How can we make this bookkeeping quote fit your budget? I'm not going to go into detail in this video on how to quote. This was more just a step-by-step process on what to do during a sales consultation. But either way, I hope this video gives you some confidence to go into your next sales consultation with a prospective client so that you can land that client and ultimately grow your bookkeeping business and get more bookkeeping clients. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm posting new videos every single week teaching you how to start and grow your own bookkeeping business.